the Guardians trade. They bring back old friend Nolan Jones, who you traded a couple years ago to get Juan Brito. Well, now you're getting him back here in Cleveland. You send Tyler Freeman to the Colorado Rockies. He's assumed to start second base there. I believe their starting second baseman broke his wrist, if I'm not mistaken. So they were a little bit needy for that. It felt like the Guardians reaped the benefits of that trade. But what does this mean for both of those players? But we also have to talk about what it means for Will Brennan and the rest of the outfield, because Will Brennan was supposed to be, or at least was told he was going to be on the opening day roster. Well, you bring in Nolan Jones now. That can shake things up. I would imagine he is going to make the opening day roster. Jack, everything that you saw from this trade, what are your thoughts? We'll start here. I know you're a big Nolan Jones guy, and you're definitely not a Tyler Freeman or Will Brennan guy.
I think it starts out with the people who were anti this trade because of the value of Tyler Freeman. Tyler Freeman's a very hard baseball player. He runs the bases hard. He steals bases. He gives his all in the outfield or the infield, wherever he's at, on any given rep. But you got to look long-term here a little bit as well. Tyler Freeman, unless something happens to Travis Bazzana, Juan Brito, Angel Martinez, Angel Henao, and probably even Will Wilson at this point, would not be playing second base or shortstop entering opening day next year. He's a backup utility behind Arias and Freeman as well. In center field, you have DeLauder coming up one day who can push things around. Nolan himself can play center field. There's going to be options. George Valera. You didn't really need him for the outfield either. If the Rockies had an obvious need, they had to go get a second baseman who could breathe at a Major League Baseball level, because the Rockies are just teetering on AAA and major leagues. They're kind of blurring the reality in between. So they had to go out and get something. Freeman works out there. And this is just the perfect low-risk, high-reward move for the Guardians. I'm going to start off everything I say by acknowledging out loud the fact that last year Nolan Jones hit .225 with 3 home runs in 60 games and was injured all year and didn't play his best baseball. I'm sure he'd be the first to admit that. The last time Nolan Jones was healthy in Major League Baseball, he finished fourth in National League Rookie of the Year voting, hit 20 home runs, and stole 20 bases in just over 100 games. This time last year, we're looking at late March of 2024, Nolan Jones was the breakout star of the NL, the Colorado Rockies budding franchise player, a year of injuries, and now the guy's turned to dust. And you get a great chance now in Cleveland to take the guy back. You probably should have never traded him in the first place. You got burned. Now you get him back. Finish the story.
You mentioned that stat line in 2023. It was 106 games, so you're right, just over 100 games. You mentioned the 20 home runs, 931 OPS too, so the guy gets on base. And you talked about high reward, low risk. That is this trade. Like Tyler Freeman, the ceiling there is barely visible. I made the joke, it's lower than my vertical, and I can't jump over a piece of paper, okay? You bring in Nolan Jones, a guy with some pop, a guy who can hit can hit lefties and righties pretty damn well, right? Like, this is a great move for the Guardians, but what does this mean for a guy like Will Brennan, who you thought was going to be on the opening day roster, but now you're not so sure?
Yeah, this is a tough one to see what they do, because it's also, this goes way deeper into roster construction now, too, because you're so handcuffed by having Manzardo, Santana can basically only play first base. David Fry's eventually going to come back. He can't even play the field. So you're in a really weird spot where I almost think there's a chance that Will Brennan does not make the opening day roster, even though he was told that he was going to. Stephen Vogt said it. They were talking about the trade last night. Like, sometimes the way spring training shakes out, you get opportunities at things you didn't expect. Much like other sports, a guy goes down, a guy gets cut, whatever. You could find your quarterback week 3 of preseason. That's kind of what happened here in this. Nolan Jones is a clear upgrade over Will Brennan in right field. So that calls into question Nolan, a guy who primarily is going to bat against right-handed pitching, even though he did have an over 900 OPS against left-handed pitching in 2023. Now you're kind of cutting into, okay, well, John can also hit lefties. How many more spots do you really need for the outfield? You got to help out Freeman and Arias a little bit. Like, can we really roll with those two at second base and shortstop? I wouldn't be shocked if Will Wilson or someone else makes the opening day roster as a right-hander that can hit left-handed pitching for the infield.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the ceiling of Jones. It's obviously way higher than Freeman's will ever be. You have two absolute monsters in John Kenzie and Nolan Jones, who can both, by the way, run the bases pretty damn well for their size, I would say. So,
and both play like defensively. Both have the hose defensively in right field. I mean, right field has turned into a position that I was worried about to now a position that I'm probably maybe a little bit more excited about. Like, just the tandem, I think, of Big Christmas and Nolan Jones is just much more exciting than the tandem of Will Brennan and Big Christmas was going to be.
Because you got Nolan literally is the fastest arm out of the outfield in baseball, and Junk has to be top 5 too. Like, there are going to be bullets coming out of that right field down the line in the corner right into second base all season long.
Don't forget about Tyler Naquin, who conspiracy theory might be coming for that outfield spot as well. He's got a hose on him.
Maybe he beats out Will Brennan for that last spot.
Maybe. Last thing I want to ask you, though, on this, Jack, do you think this signals anything for Chase DeLauder? He has the foot injuries, the chronic ones. Not this time. It's a groin injury, I believe. What do you think this means for Chase DeLauder? I don't think you can expect him to make really anything of an impact on the roster this season. I think if you were to get anything from him, you'd look at it as a bonus.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one because Chase DeLauder reminds me a lot of a former right field prospect we had that was always great in the outfield, had a great bat whenever he was in the lineup, had crazy power, who we drafted below slot because of his injury issues. That guy's name was Nolan Jones. He reminds me an awful lot of Nolan Jones. But there's a thing with this, when you already have Will Brennan, who, as much as we like to get on Will Brennan a little bit, sometimes Will Brennan is going to be a 250 hitter every single year, get his job done, hit his 10 home runs, and be in the 7 through 9 hole in an okay lineup. Like, Will Brennan's not a bad baseball player by any means. Going out and getting Nolan Jones signals to me that the Chase DeLauder injury is either worse than we know about, or that his stock is just a bit diminished by the organization, because you don't go out and trade for older Chase DeLauder when you have Chase DeLauder, unless Chase DeLauder's not okay.
All right, last thing here on the Guardians before we flip over to March Madness. Jack, Tristan McKenzie, it's announced he will start the season in the bullpen, and you actually called this, I believe it was about a month ago. You thought the best thing for Tristan McKenzie to get right was to put him in the bullpen to open the season.
Yeah, I mean, look at Cal Quantrill, Carlos Carrasco. There's a number of guys in our organization who were highly touted guys, couldn't really figure it out, went to the bullpen, came back, worked out for them. This has always kind of been a Cleveland, I guess, tradition we do. Like, your last chance is, all right, go to the bullpen, see if it works out. That's kind of what we do here. I don't know, man. I'm a little bit cautious on this, though, because you are giving the option to Jacob Junis and Kobe Allard, who both were fighting for that long arm role, to now walk if they choose to. And that's a little bit of a tough one, because Kobe Allard, who we talked about on the show when the Guardians signed him, was a top 15 pick who never really figured it out. And then out of nowhere this spring, he was awesome for the Guardians. Sub-2 ERA, pitched about 15 innings, I believe. So good for that guy. He might have a shot around the league, but now it kind of gives me the, okay, this guy might actually work out. So you really got to be banking on McKenzie to help out for a couple of months here.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about, this is like a last chance thing for Tristan McKenzie. It does get to the point where you got to do your business on the pot or you got to get up, brother. We know how that is. But shout out to Logan Allen. Your agenda for Logan Allen. He makes
all of my
he gets the
agendas are on
fifth
fire
rotation.
right now. The agendas are on fire. Logan Allen, just a guy, awesome 2023. Came back last year, a little bit of injury issues early on, couldn't find the strike zone, lost his confidence. Who's to say he can't go out and replicate? This is such a year of bringing 2023 back for everyone in the organization. We're going every single team in our division gets to have a year every 3 years where they're the fourth best team in the division, but everyone has a career year and they somehow win the division, a la 2020 White Sox, 2021 Twins. It's our year for once to have that. Everyone has a career year out of nowhere. Go Guards. We're so back. Over 81.5.
Well, I hope so.
Last year was, though, kind of.
Yeah, but they were all younger, though. Not as many career. You got to have, like,
the regression, Jack. Everybody loves talking about regression.
Oh, progression. We are a progression program.
Oh, yeah.
In all facets, we are a
82.5.
progression program.
Over 82.5. To the bank, car keys, house keys, whatever you got.
All right, we got to take a break. When we get back, March Madness, the Sweet 16 is set. A little bit of madness, not as much as everybody would like.